Hi, it's Yousaf. How are you? And today we're going to talk about 10 ways to improve your PPC campaigns. Whether you're a client, whether you're an ad buyer, there's something in here for you in terms of walking away just a little bit more knowledgeable about your campaigns. And who am I? So my agency was founded, YRV Dynamics, in March 3rd, 2022. I have roughly 10 years experience prior to that. On top of that, I'm certified and I've been interviewed by several platforms. And I'm here to basically help the vertical is what I would like to say, and really just give my knowledge in terms of how, if there's any PPC buyers or clients out there that just want to listen, right, and improve their campaigns. Because one thing I've been seeing is a lot of people not having faith in PPC. But I'm here to say it's not having faith. It's really just having the right buyer or having knowledgeable buyers or knowing what you're doing. And I think that's probably a little bit of the problem. So let's jump in and see how we can help strategize and make your PPC buys stronger. So let's go right here to objective. When I first start with a client, it's funny because it's always the same answer. Like, okay, so how do you want to start this? What are you looking to do? Blah, blah, blah. Well, I just want to run about $30,000 and, just spend some money and just get some revenue right off the bat. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not going to happen, right? Because you don't have an ad account. You have a website. You're just starting. You're coming to us because we're very cost efficient and we do a great job and we're able to hand this off to you. But because we actually always recommend, that's another thing too, always own your own ad accounts. What we want to do is set you up for success, right? And when you're first spending money, like the first thing I always say if they come to me in sales is, what are your organic sales right now? Oh, well, I don't have any organic sales. Oh, okay. Do you have a web page? Oh, or a social page? Oh, I have an Instagram and that's really it. Okay. But you now want to come to me with $30,000 and just drop it, right? So, and then do you have a website, email collection marketing campaign? No, I don't. I have 100 emails. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. It's really, I always say is the first, we should start off in steps, right? Because this actually goes back to what I was saying, why I even created this video, was because I'm seeing so much of buyers come in with unrealistic expectations. And you have, clients coming in with unrealistic expectations. You have buyers who just say yes to anything. And you don't have anybody just advising and saying, wait a minute. Do you have this? Do you have that? Well, I can't tell you how many times I've actually said I won't do the buy or you're not there yet. Because you don't have any sales right now. If you don't have that architecture and infrastructure that's already there, already making purchases, you're not going to find success with PPC. You have to have that successful architecture already in place, already generating sales. Then you come and say, I want to scale this. Now there's other ways to approach this because you can softly scale your business through PPC. And what do I mean by that? That's through email collection. That's through traffic. That's through boosting posts. All that stuff. Now that generates momentum as well to that end result. That's smart. And that's actually where I ask a lot of people to start. Because with a traffic campaign, we want to experiment and make sure when traffic's coming in, of the landing page, is the landing page view going? Is initiate checkout going? Is add to cart going? Is payment method going? Is the purchase is finally happening, right? Is there a thank you? Are we able to track all this? And then once you see it in the back end, you're like, okay, now he's getting purchases after, because now the traffic's converting, it's going through the process, the conversion funnel, then we can do sales campaigns. Just to come in and just say, I want to do sales without any kind of thing. It's like, well, wait a minute. Maybe you're better off doing a lead campaign for emails. Maybe you're better off doing a boosting campaign. Maybe you're better off doing traffic. There's a whole bunch of different avenues, but it's funny because it's I know the most, that's what they come here for, right? And a lot of times they do. They are. I would say it's more times than not they're ready. But there are sometimes, most, not say most, but a considerable amount of time where clients are not there. Or they thought they were there, went with another PPC person who said they said, when I said no, they said yes, and they just burned their money. And then they come back to me. And those, my friends, are the worst. I can't tell you how many of those I've had. It's sad. It's really making sure that you trust and you you're getting the right knowledge, not yes men. Not I can spend. You just spent 30,000. My retainer was 15, 20, 10,000 bucks, and now you're out money. So it's really understanding what where you're at in your PPC journey and formulating it correctly. The next one is proper CRM. So your CRM data is really where you should begin. There's a movement right now with Broad. Broad works, my friends, when there's already awareness for your product. Why do you think all these big brands are doing broad targeting right now? Because they're already big brands. They already have awareness in the marketplace. Do small businesses have that? Maybe in their targeted area. Maybe but really you need to give it a nudge. And the only way you can nudge that is using your CRM data by plugging in either the emails or the email purchasers who are both high, medium, and low into your audience funnel. So that way they're learning, right? Because you're giving it almost like a push, if you will, to go up the hill to the path to conversion. Because if you do broad right off the bat with a small business, sure, they may work on I'm doing right now actually broad with a couple of local businesses that are very geo, but if I'm going national, if I go broad with a small business that's spending maybe 10,000 a month, maybe, okay, but you got to give it a nudge. There's no doubt about it. Again, the whole broad thing, in my opinion, is more for brands that already have awareness. And yeah, there is a long tail solution here, and it also depends what you mean broad. It can mean just several interests and getting it to like whatever a 200 or 100 million threshold and just letting it run from there. But pure broad, I don't know, folks. I'm on the fence on that. Use your CRM data. That's what it's there for. Plug it in. Make sure the values are assigned so you give it a wide list of people to work with. Small spenders all the way to large, right? So that way it can learn. It's like, okay, this is what a small spender does. This is what a medium spender does. Okay, got it. And it's that whole value association that we're able to slice and dice the information and incorporate it correctly in your buys. The next one is budget. This is interesting. So I've had a couple clients come to me and say, I have, this is a good one. I had a solar business that came to me and they said, I spend the average order value is between $40,000 and $80,000 for a solar integration. And I was like, okay. I went through it. I basically talked to him. I've done plenty of lead gen, and I quoted him how much I was going to spend. And he was like, whoa, that's kind of high. And I was like, yeah. He was like, well, my lead gen, I can get leads for, a $10 lead through that at me, $40, $30 leads and all sorts of stuff. And I was like, for an $80,000 thing, $80,000 solar business. And, just think about that because, well, wait a minute. Anybody can get leads. Anybody can get leads. Leads are the easiest thing to get. Sales is what you need, not leads. If I give you three leads, and one of them converts into $80,000, my friend, and we pay for those, it's worth it, right? But if you're going to spend half as much for 1,000 leads, and none of them convert, then what's the point, right? So you really want to make sure you're associating the budget with the right end goal, right? And then most of all, you're learning because higher order value campaigns they're quote unquote easier, but at the same time, it's a lot more accountability. So you really got to make sure that you're using the right conversion method to associate that with the right budget, right? And it all comes down to the way it's set up. It comes out to what your average order. What your average purchase will be, your cost per acquisition, and then associating it, and then most of all, making sure it goes down because the first couple of conversions are going to be kind of expensive, right? Because you're teaching it how to learn and come down in terms of the average cost per lead or cost per purchase or whatever. And that's what gets it down, the cost per acquisition low, and gets your ROAS high. That's what does it. So it's constantly this feedback loop to have it learn. So keep that in mind. And then also putting in the creative, all sorts of stuff. This is a good one. Buyer expertise. So this is great. scam agencies is kind of a big term right now. There's a lot of people out there who are not certified, have no experience, don't know what they're doing, and they're out there pitching business. And it's our job, right, as other PPC buyers in the business, I don't care where you're from, what country you're from, to really say, like, kind of to set the standard and really show what that is. And my friends, you know what it is? It's certifications. It's really making sure your blueprint Google certified. The Google certification's easy. The Meta one's actually kind of hard. I agree there. I actually have a whole bunch of videos and content based on that. But it's really making sure that you understand not so much how to buy, but with Meta Blueprint, it's how Meta understands buying. What is Meta's back-end approach to buying? And how can you apply that knowledge to your PPC buys? That's the trick. That's why people don't believe in certifications, or they don't bother. Oh, I've been buying for years and I don't need it. And I hear this all day long, and I hear it, and it's sad, because as a client, you should be looking for certifications. You should be looking for that. And I'm talking current. Meta's only good for, the blueprint's only good for 2 years. You should make sure they are certified. Anybody who's spending money on your buys needs to definitely have a license. I mean, that's just what it is. It's a license. So really making sure that basic knowledge is there. And your buyers have it, because do you think you're going to get ripped off by a Meta Blueprint certified buyer? Probably not. I would be shocked if you did. Now, I'm not saying I do perfect buys all the time, but my ratio is pretty damn good. And I would say it's basically because I'm certified in Google, double certified in Blueprint. I know what I'm doing. And it's really making sure that you have that knowledge. Will experience always triumph knowledge? Probably, but when you have both, you're dynamite. You're like a superpower. You're unstoppable. So why not expand on that, right? It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. If you're a client, make sure you just ask. Just ask and say, and especially if they mess up, because I promise you, that's usually where I see the issues. Overspends. That's usually from untrained buyers, or buyers who kind of been removed. They jump in and out and they don't know. Crap ROAS. There's sometimes you need to turn the darn thing off and rebuild everything, or just get new creative in. Does an experienced buyer know to do that? Know to make that call? Probably not, right? The next one, this is actually kind of interesting. AI and technology. I would say 5 years ago, I didn't believe in this. I would say this year is it. Like, you should have AI or technology or both in your offerings as a contractor. The days of just looking and making the adjustment is, it's still here, but it's not. You need to make sure that's more qualified. You need help, right? And there's a couple ways that that can be done. So I don't have to go down the whole, let's ask ChatGPT the best keywords for this, whatever it is, right? Everybody knows that. But are you using predictive modeling, right? Like, I use predictive modeling. That's what I do. And it's actually in my, if you see here, it's actually in my Medium articles. So let's go right here. So I'm able to, through ChatGPT 4, not the 3 free version, through ChatGPT 4, I actually have predictive modeling that I've actually incorporated into a lot of my buys, where I'm able to enter the description, I'm able to enter the client name, I'm able to enter all these keywords and understand what's the predictive modeling say. And that's not just doing the simple thing. Also, too, the feedback loop on terms of reporting analysis. That's another thing I use the ChatGPT for my own. And by the way, this is my own ChatGPT right here. So, and then another thing I want to talk about is, so my company, my agency has a special partnership with Power My Analytics, right? Why is this important? It's important because we're registered as one of 10 partners who is able to work on specific Power My Analytic clients, whether they're Fortune 500, whether they're their agencies, and we're allowed to contract on behalf of them and plug and play and set up their dashboards, all sorts of cool stuff. This is me right here, and like I said, I have my own webpage on Power My Analytics. I'll put this in the thing as well. And this is a really cool thing. Why is this so cool? Why are you even talking about this? Well, I'm talking about it because it's really about creating custom dashboards and reporting to find the peaks and the valleys of what's going on in your buys, right? Are you receiving these? Because I'm telling you, reporting's coming back, folks, because there's too much to track. And if you think you're going to keep this all on an Excel page with a bunch of tabs, messy tabs, I mean, sure, that may fly for somebody who's a client that's an ex-buyer or has buying experience. I would say that's not going to fly for 90% of the clients out there, right? So you have to be able to storytell and deliver these very compelling dashboards that show the peaks and the valleys, what's wrong, right? Because if your ROAS dips and you just pull out an Excel sheet, you may be able to wing it, but you need to actually do the storytelling to show where are we at with the top of funnel? Where are we at with the bottom of funnel? Where are we at with the middle of funnel? Are we using the right? Where's the mess ups happening? Where's the audiences? Where's the creative? Like, is there a mismatch? What's going on? You could really only do that through this because there's so many different metrics going on, right? And if you put that on an Excel sheet, I'm telling you, it's a mess. It's a mess, folks. You need tech to help you, right? And that's what I do. Each one of my dashboards that's free to my clients has roughly 10 to 15 slides a piece per platform. Now, is it like, well, wait a minute, do I need to go through 15, 20, 30 slides to just find out how the ROAS is doing? No, you don't. We have a top sheet. That's what the top sheet is for. But heaven forbid there's something wrong. You need to go, what if there's a $10,000 error? You best believe we're going to go through those 10 sheets to find it, right? You can't go through an Excel sheet really to find it. It's going to look like a mess. You need AI and tech to help you. You have to push your agency into this ML. It's not enough, folks, to have Excel. And most of all, you need to make sure that, even when you get the cool slides and it has the impressions and all this other stuff, and it's not in real time, right? It needs to be graphs. It needs to be storytelling. And yeah, that can be it. You can write a little pyramid thing that says this is the total impressions and this is the total clicks and this is the landing page view. But really, are you doing that against each audience? That can do this. So that's what I'm talking about, folks. Like it's really pushing your technology to this day and age. Okay, so that's it for that. So like I said, you need tech. So I have AI tech and I have reporting tech. Connections. Okay, so really making sure that CAPI enhanced conversions for Google are working correctly, making sure those are installed, and then making sure that you're comparing those, you're auditing really your purchases, etc., to those platforms, whether it be Padaya, Kajabi, etc. And then, a lot of times we've actually looked at even attribution partners. We may actually be partnering with one very soon. So because a lot of times, the Google will eliminate or iOS will eliminate the Google Click ID, right? And same thing with the Facebook Click ID. So they log in at Starbucks, right? They do the mobile phone at Starbucks and they log in at their desktop at work. Then they disconnect and they go home, log into another network. The Click ID is severed. Right. So what happens is, sometimes it's that they get lost. That conversion does not come through. Right. So many times we have to kind of look at what is the CAPI installed. That's why CAPI exists. If you're just using pixels, just a website pixel just to set up and you do the pixel, the connection thing and the pixel helper on Facebook, my friends, that's not enough. You have to really do the CAPI integration, right? And that's done with a buyer. And actually it's automatic with Shopify. It's funny too. One of my best offerings right now is the thing that really clients I see get excited about when I pitch is isn't the buying, right? Because they know we're great buyers. It's our buyers bar none. It's really the video editing is one, and then the next thing is my Shopify tech. So the Shopify tech I have, he's worth his weight in gold because that is an added value to working with us. That's free through working with us. It's an amazing offering. And if we're able to go in there and QA, if your Google Shopping reviews are not showing up, we're able to QA and fix that. That kind of stuff right now is really in demand. And that's why I'm talking about PPC agencies. Can your PPC agency do that? Or are they just buying? Right? So you really have to make sure that, and we do creative, we do SEO, we do it all. That's how a shop is really at its game, is when it's able to be a Swiss Army knife and not just say, oh, we just do PPC. Like, we do it all. We're able to come in and basically like a SEAL team, fix and levers and develop a cool marketing plan, complete with connection optimizations to drive your ROAS up. Like I said, I'm trying to partner soon with an attribution partner. I think it's called Wicked Report. So that's something I'm talking to them soon about. So I look forward to. Reporting. Again, I don't think we have to drive the nail here. It's really, if you're using Excel, stop using Excel. Unless the client reports it. Now, I actually have, out of all my clients, I have one or two that exist on Excel. That's because they're big on pivoting. They're big pivot people, which is awesome. That's great. I actually admire that. But most don't have the time to do that, right? So you have to, storytelling through these, unfortunately, these various data platforms that provide the high, medium, and low dashboards is what's needed. Realistic goal setting and accountability. Oh man, that actually goes back to what I was saying before. Really, as a client, when they come up to you and really saying like, hey, I have $30,000, $40,000 to spend, I want this. And it's really just setting that realistically goal and even drawing a paper or presentation on it saying, you can't do that. Like, it's going to take time, understanding the laws of how cost per purchase work, right? Cost per acquisition, how you pay higher and it learns and it goes down. Like, that's exactly what I'm talking about. As that go down, the ROAS goes up. Exactly. Creative and other services being used, just like I was saying, what can as a contractor, do you have resources that you can tap into for your client? Or are you going to put it back on the client? You see what I mean? You really need to make sure that you're able to offer those services. Otherwise, right, you're PPC, but there's a gap, right? And then experiments. Always be experimenting. That's really a key thing as well. Like, what experiments are being done in your reporting, and it all goes back to that. What experiments are being done? What's a feedback loop? What's experiments for this week, next week, and the weeks down the road? What are you looking to do? And then most of all, how are you building ROAS and more? How are you, that should be driving every single experiment. And if you're in the beginning part of the funnel and you're just experimenting, making sure that you're saying like, once this is done, once I see these numbers, we're thumbs up to go ROAS or to start spending for sales. So that's all done through experiments. So that's really it, my friends. Thank you so much for listening. I want to also say we're on Medium. I have roughly 20 plus articles that I'm working on right now. So they're all up. On top of that, I have this YouTube channel. Also, I'm on Reddit. I have roughly 500 karma points, which is awesome. And then I have my site. So feel free to reach out, YRV Dynamics. We're more than happy to help. And if you have any questions on the Meta Blueprint certification, please let me know. I'm very big in that. I'm a huge advocate of it. We're probably looking at setting up another mastermind soon. So would love to talk further. So thank you so much for your time. And I look forward to our next video together. Thank you.